Hello, good morning to you. And this is the special morning because I would call it morning in the morning. Morning in English. It's quite similar about pronunciation to the part of the day and the time of grieving, when we lost somebody close. This is the time of mourning for us. This is the spring morning. So again, as in the previous video, when I said about great expectations about the spring that comes, it might be different. And that reminded me of my yesterday walk to the cemetery, my local cemetery near the church, my parish church that actually I don't go to, don't attend the Sunday service. Sometimes I drop in just for 5 minutes, just to sit or stand, to think, to hear the silence, but nothing more. I don't think that only in church you can find God, of course. This is the stereotype. But another probably stereotype is that I cannot find the souls of the dead, our closest, in the cemetery. Whenever you visit the grave, your family grave, you can see the first name, surname, okay, fine. You know who is buried there. It's good to have such information. The date of birth, the date of death, so you can count the lifetime of a particular person. Sometimes there's the picture, photograph, so you can usually when this person was in their prime, young, prime, but not particularly at the time of dying, in hospital bed, for instance. Of course, there are some titles, like, for example, the Doctor of Medicine, PhD, Professor, Colonel, Major, or Sergeant. Why not? Teacher? I don't know. Any titles, achievements might be written. And we know if this is more respected person in the society or less respected. In fact, I did not remember. I don't remember seeing that somebody was a shoemaker, for example, or the baker, or who else? Taxi driver? Oh well, I can see that people usually have the big plans regarding the burial. So, what to be dressed in, what shoes, what suit, I don't know, what's more, what music should be played. And the place is important. The place matters much. Some people would like to be buried on the small high-rise with the view, preferably at sea, mountains, lake, river, the vast plain, woodland. Yeah. Some prefer east, to see the sunrise every day, some west to see the sunset every day, depending on individual preferences, of course. Yeah. So that is the many details that should be arranged. Yeah. The next thing is the form of burial. Some would like to be buried in a coffin. So the question is, what that coffin should be made of? Coffin casket, oak, or cheaper, more economical pine. The handles made of gold or other more less precious metals, uh, or cremation, getting more and more popular, much more economical as well. But there's so-called columbaria. These are, the piece of wall with some like drawers or with some plates, and they are big enough to hold the urn. Yeah, this is cheaper, and perhaps you don't have to clean the grave to plant some flowers and so on. There's the small mantelpiece, kind of a mantelpiece to put some candle and light it. And that's all. I think that it's quite convenient. Yeah. I think that probably much more convenient is, or the most even convenient is the body donation, I would think. Because you don't have to care about your funeral and so on. People that you leave behind don't have to worry about the cost, about organizing all of this. You just donate your body for the medical research. That would be nice prospect for me, for example. Even after my death, I could be handled by some young, I hope, pretty female medicine students, for example. Why not? So there are many solutions, of course, depending on the individual preferences, fate. Some people want to take care so much about their bodies that they request requirements to mummify them, to make the mummy. These are practices. This is the practice that dates from the ancient times in ancient Egypt. Mummies, yes, of the pharaohs, the rulers of ancient Egypt. So they thought that when their body would be mummified, they will live infinitely, eternally. I don't know what they thought really regarding the graves that are called pyramids, the giant graves or tombs. We can think how high ego they presented the grave. How many lives it cost to build such a big, giant, spectacular, monstrous grave? And these pyramids, these mummies, that sounds to me a bit kinky, pervert, disgusting, in fact. I don't know how to call it. Grotesque? Grotesque as well. But Still in the 20th century, the communist leader, Mr. Lenin in Russia, Soviet Union, was also mummified. We can see his corpse, I don't know, his remains in a mausoleum on a red square in Moscow. There, you have to wait in a queue to see him or not him probably. What is left? I don't know what to think about that. But the same is with some people who loved, they're loving so much their pets, cats, dogs. They also want to preserve them, the dead bodies. So also they kind of mummified them, but in this case they removed their guts and they stuffed them with I don't know what. Put some glass eyes, for example, red with red iris, and you can have your beloved cat, kitty, or doggy on the mantelpiece, yeah, over the fireplace, and sitting in your armchair in winter evenings by the fire. You can look at your beloved one, delved into very spiritual, highly spiritual reflection. Oh, she's gone, he's gone. Yeah. Of course, we should understand the suffering at the same time. But whenever I go to the cemetery, and I don't usually visit my family graves because I don't feel anything there. I stand, look at the name, first name, surname, date of birth, date of death. So if I forgot, I can count once again what was the lifetime again. I could think, oh, she or he could have lived longer than that. Well, but I don't feel anything. But I don't have to, because quite often I recall them in my mind, in my soul, sometimes even every day, for a while, for a longer time. And wherever I am, in a supermarket, at home, while walking, while swimming in the lake, in the late summer afternoon, watching the sunset, or at the top of the mountains, at the seaside, no matter what is the place, or on a tram. I don't need to go to some grave or family tomb. And I know some elderly lady who says that whenever she goes to cemetery, she visits her family there because she's got two graves of her family in the same cemetery, her family. But the point is that she still has some members of the family that are still alive, but she doesn't care much about them. She's not able to maintain the at least decent relationship with these who are still alive. She cleans very ferociously the grave, and then once I accompanied her, and then she didn't even pray. She didn't even stand still for a while and to reflect. Yes, she packed her tools, her liquid soaps, cleaners, all that stuff, rags, brushes, and so on. And she goes away. I cannot see any reflection about her. Strange. Artificial intelligence also provides us a new way of remembering our closest. This is called the chatbot. Chatbot. What is it about? So before somebody dies, he or she records as many things as possible about talking about different topics, subjects, and they make some kind of database, some kind of dictionary using this person's voice. And then artificial intelligence somehow can get this together, and after the person dies, while using this AI bot, this person can still talk to the person who passed away, asking questions, for example, and this person answer in their voice. Moreover, we could see that person because that is also the picture, moving picture, picture in motion is created of this person while answering the questions that we ask. So the person can say, the widow, I have to buy a new car. If you were here with me now, you could, of course, you could do it for me or advice, but now, what do you think? What car I should buy? And this person from some different dimension advice, what car to buy. Believe it or not, but this is very. I'm trying to find the appropriate word for that. But first of all, this person sounds like a reader from the audiobook, or I don't know. It doesn't sound authentic, despite you hear the sound of this voice. In fact, this is this person's voice, and you can see this person, like watching the movie. No doubt, but anyway, it's fake. There's no soul about this dialogue, this talk. Why to make such an effort and time to create something that is purely artificial and that is never get back? Never, because this person is gone. It's gone in physical terms, of course, not in spiritual, because to me, all these beloved ones that I lost, they are still somewhere in my mind, in my soul, I don't know where. I still vividly can remember them, can recall them, can hear in my mind the sound of their voice. I could remember many moments, our talks, our situations from our life, common life, when we even touch each other, when we cuddle, hug, when we kissed. Smells, sounds, when we dance with each other, when we cried, smiled, laughed. I still remember that. What shall I do? I need the chatbot for? I feel nothing. I cannot say anything about that, and such pathetic, desperate, hopeless effort in vain to bring back memories and to bring somebody still alive again. It's impossible. And how costful is it? All these ceremonies, all this organizing this whole funeral industry, and how people in pain are exploited by undertakers. Well, it is everyone's choice. At the end of this, I would like to, as one would like to say, I would like to wish everybody, rest in peace. No matter if you are alive and if you are dead, rest in peace. That is all. In the springtime, soon is Easter. Hope to record some video about this time. Very cheerful time. Yeah? And when everything is in bloom again, that is the real rebirth, not mummies, not stuffed animals on the mantelpiece of a fireplace. So that is all to say. Rest in peace to them and to us. Keep well, take care, and so on.